Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just copy and paste anything that you see that I put down there for you, or that our colleagues put down there for you to copy and paste. It could be web links, it could be great ideas, and you just take them and run with them. Again, thank you for joining us. Bonjour. And what we're going to do is just, again, I will just retype what I typed before, just to let everybody know who you are, what you teach, and where it is that you teach it. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Café DELF. So we're going to actually talk about food and restaurants and share just different ideas of things that we can do in our classrooms, no matter what grade level we teach, no matter what type of French we teach, whether it's a French immersion, core French, extended, or Français. It doesn't matter where you're teaching, whether you're teaching in Ontario or somewhere else in Canada or the United States or our other many countries that that join us, the teachers from all over the world that join us. So it's kind of good because we can share ideas and we can share links too. So I should probably start by doing that. I'll give you some really important links, because another important thing with Shop Talk is your ability to copy and paste. So anything you see in the chat box that you like, definitely feel free to copy and paste that one. So we're going to hopefully do some interactive things today, and that's the website you'll go to claim a prize. All right, so that's there for you. If you are needing to ask any questions, say after a question pops up in your head, after the show, and you're just thinking, maybe even this weekend, that you're like, oh, I want to ask Steve something, then just friend me on Facebook if you have a Facebook account, and you can definitely pop a Facebook message on to me anytime. Just say hello and talk. Love talking shop. That's why this particular session is called Shop Talk. And this is like our 21st Shop Talk, 21st week of doing this. That is nuts. Isn't it crazy? Let's get used to the format for those of you who are new. This is how we always open up Shop Talk. So grab your pens and let me know, just first of all, let me know if you are currently a DJ DELF Kit owner. So you have this humongous career binder with the obviously the DVD and the CD and the incentive prizes, and my favorite part, of course, as everybody knows, is the ball, the hypoallergenic ball, which is used for the subject of the day and for many other tasks. Circle oui if you are somebody who has this kit. Circle no if this is something that is completely new to you. The reason I'm asking is because last week, we did the 12 big ideas for the actual life aspect called Au Café DELF. So taking students to a restaurant, getting real with their learning. If you do not have a pen, all you simply do is type in the box yes or no, and I will circle for you, so help you be represented. Your cat. Catherine, that is hilarious. So Catherine says her cat got the ball. Well, I mean, it is a great ball, so and it's hypoallergenic. So when you get it back from the cat, well, first of all, there's no risk to your cat of getting sick, and vice versa. So that is really, really cool. Everything I do on purpose, and even right down to what ball was chosen for this kit. That's how crazy it is. So this is the whole idea of Shop Talk. What we do is we use the DJ DELF Kit, okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's just basically a career's worth of resources all put into one, so it's basically done for you. If you're a teacher, there's 9 life aspects, 9 real-life things. So for any teachers who are really looking to do action-oriented, authentic, task-based teaching, therefore learning, for students, that's what this is about. So what we do is we use this as an excuse. So I go through it, but then you can just grab nuggets of ideas. And that's what last week was about. So let's pull up the screen from last week. And what I'll do is I'll show you really quickly the big ideas that we went over last week. Now, fortunately, all you have to do, so I mean, I guess this is cool in a way. If you missed last week, all you need to do now is just go to this link that's there, you can actually listen to it in your car as a podcast. So as you're driving, then you can hear me talking, and there's like little nuggets that are just falling everywhere with really great ideas of things that you can do with your students. And more importantly, things that you can offer your students and then talk to them and say, hey, why don't we co-construct things? Why don't we work together and plan these really great, what we used to call units, life aspects. So let's plan the direction we're going to go as we learn French together. So let's look over these big ideas really quickly before I go on, because I want you to understand that what we're going to do is before you ever hit a life aspect, the students are always going to want to know, why am I here? Why are we learning this? All right. So here's some big ideas that we can throw at them. And what you'll notice are a few things. One is the life aspect, okay, is here. It tells you we're talking about the restaurants and foods, okay. The grade suggestion that is there, so anywhere from grade 1 up all the way through grade 12. So there's my menu, okay. Beautiful beverages. I'm not going to go over these again because we went over them last week, but I just want to highlight them here. Oops, sorry. The cooking show. I love that one. Shopping for the kitchen. I thought that one was very important. Okay. So what I'm doing is reading the big ideas, just if you're joining us now, just reading some big ideas that we went over last week. Okay. Best chef competition. So they literally do like a best chef competition. Around the world in 10 restaurants. I love that one. Diary of a server. Okay, I believe I said that one's my favorite. I really do think that one's my favorite because they've already practiced being diary writers with the subject of the day. Now they are going to actually consider all facets of what it's like to be a server at a restaurant. Trials, tribulations, happiness, the great, all the things, the long hours, everything, all right? And it all can go into their diary. Everyone's a critic, so you can be a critic of a restaurant. Restaurant hopping, I like that one. So you choose a dish from different restaurants around the city. Probably a slight majority of people last week said their favorite was the Adventures of a Plate. That's pretty cool. Take the whole restaurant experience from the point of view of a plate. Okay? His friends are being smashed on the ground and dropped by servers and cooks and patrons. Sometimes you're stuck with this hot meal on you. Other time it's a cold meal because you've been put in the fridge. You're being passed around. You're being washed. You're being neglected. All these things are happening. Your friends, the forks and knives, are scraping against you. Whatever. How much fun is that, right? But what you're doing is you're taking all the experiences from the DJ DELF Kit, from the life aspect of Café DELF for this example, and because of the wealth of vocabulary that they've built, the expressions, the knowledge, and the practice using the skits with interactive vocabulary and everything like that, which we're going to do today, they will have the ability to be able to do things like this, talk as if they were a plate. Again, if you're new, the chat box is down there to ask any questions. You can stop me, interrupt me anytime. I'm a teacher, so I'm a professional at being interrupted. Then, restaurant ad campaign. Okay, the whole idea is there, and what to do with it is there as well. People have been asking about that. I saw that on Facebook. I believe people were talking about it. So that's a really good idea there, already done for you. And finally, date night. Okay, date night. So you create a skit that has to end with a surprising twist at the end. At the beginning of every life aspect, you are given, in the teacher's guide, basically the explanation of what it is, what was the purpose of this. So in this case, the song, what's great about the songs is the songs are actually stories. Okay? And they're done with a DJ beat, so that's cool. That's wonderful. You don't have to force your students to sing. If they want to sing to it, they can sing to it. But the purpose is actually listen to it and to see different things from the songs. Okay. So here it says, step into DJ DELF's personal cafe, where you can order as much as you want off the menu. This upbeat song and life aspect, or unit, provides students with the tools necessary to capably maintain interaction at a restaurant while holding discussions and expressing their opinions. So students are going to play with menus, they're going to place and take orders, they're going to go through all these types of things. So it's kind of exciting. There's a whole cornucopia of things to be looking forward to. The next thing that you'll see is you're brought through the whole idea of what it is that you're going to go through. So the activities, okay, and then a list of what to do with it, all right? There are the songs. Now, the very first thing that we always recommend is doing the Great 8 strategies, see? Here's what you do. Now, this says Je me présente, which is another life aspect as part of the DJ DELF Kit, but we're talking about the restaurant here. So here's the 8 steps, and I'm going to copy and paste them, and hopefully it'll go right into your chat box. So you may copy and paste this if you wish. First, what you do is you read the words to Au Café DELF. So now we're switching to Au Café DELF, okay? You're going to pass along activity sheet 1 to them, which I'm going to show you in a second, all right? And you're going to ask students not to write on the sheet, but to discuss possible answers and discuss how, wait a minute, the answers can vary, all right? So the first one was an idea of teacher modeling. They're hearing the spoken French from you, and they're just listening. And they're trying to picture in their heads some kind of film of what it is that this Café DELF experiences must be like. Now they're going to look at the words, but there's going to be missing blanks, but there'll be a box of possible answers. And they're supposed to discuss what possible answers they probably think can go in there. Step number 3, you finally get to play the song, which is like a really good introduction to this whole idea of restaurants and the restaurant experience. This is DJ DELF now modeling it, so there's another French voice that's modeling everything. And you want them to try to write the answers, so try to take the different answers from the answer box and place it into the thing. So what I'll do is maybe I'll go back and forth. I'll show you. So we could do this right now. I mean, why don't we do this right now? Step 2 was they're supposed to look at this sheet and circle and put down answers that they think are correct. So grab your pen, circle a word like this one here, and then draw an arrow to the space you think that it belongs. And I'll give you a couple minutes to look at that. And while we're doing that, if you have any questions, definitely type some in the chat box. So this is idea number 2, where they're just at first looking only at this blank piece of paper with a story that was just read to them, but they're now considering, well, what kind of answers can go in different spaces? So let's see. I like some of the thinking that's going on here. And the fact is, these may not be what you would say the right answers. Right answers. There are no right answers. That's the whole idea. By providing students with skits that have interchangeable vocabulary, we're teaching them that, hey, you have to be flexible with your French, and that's why we build a toolbox filled with vocab, expressions, words, keywords, so that we can plug them in into our everyday conversations and real-life situations at any time. So the answers are just blossoming. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to say, why don't we just stop right here? Because the second part would be to play the song. When you're playing the song, you can actually then have the students try to fill in the blanks with answers that come from the song. It doesn't mean it's the right answers. It means it's the story that DJ DELF is telling about his cafe.
Bonne journée, bienvenue à notre café. Je vous écoute, voilà une carte vous désirez. Commandez une entrée, un plat ou un dessert. Demandez à la serveuse ou au serveur. Je recommande la soupe du jour ou l'entrée, la bouillabaisse ou la salade composée. Peut-être la salade aux tomates, le pâté, la salade niçoise, le dur ou les crudités. Au Café DELF, vous êtes invités, vous n'en pas ou un goûter. Déjeuner ou dîner, êtes-vous prêts à commander? Pour le plat principal, vous avez choisi peut-être un faux filet rosé à point ou bien cuit. Que prenez-vous?
Okay, good. So, do you notice the first word here was voilà une carte after? What's another word for carte? Somebody type that in the chat box for me. Right. So menu, as Holly says and Catherine says. What do we call this? We call this culture. All right. So we talk often about teaching culture, and doing it with food is fantastic. And we can make crêpes, and we can make so many things that are French, okay, quote unquote French, or we can say traditional French stuff. But we can also teach culture through the language, and I think that's really, really important. And that's what I love about the DJ DELF Kit, is it opens you up to teaching culture through the language by the varied the vocab that's there. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's really, really important. So basically what they're going to do is, as they're going through this, we're doing the Great 8 strategies. If you're just joining us now, we're doing the Great 8 strategies, but with Au Café DELF. So right now this is step 3, so they're listening to the song for the first time. Well, actually it's the second time, because the first time was modeled by us, the teacher. The first time that DJ DELF is actually singing or performing the song, which is actually a story. He's telling a story. And let's go back. So I'm going to erase all my graffiti, and I will go over back to our the booster pack that it came from, right? Which was the second one. So you play the song. Then fourth, you actually play the lyric video. Okay. So we got to watch our time here, but there's a lyric video that goes with it. So it has some of the food items coming out and pictures, and it has most importantly, it has the words there. So you can play the song a few times, just audio version of it, and have them work on that sheet. And have them write in, for example, just say a blue pen. There is a sample sheet that I do include on the internet, which shows you an example of what this Grade 8 strategies looks like when it's done. It's great. The sheet is marked up with highlighters, pens of different colors, circles. It's incredible. It's 8 different things you do with one sheet just to get students involved. It's incredible. So it's in blue pen on the example of the Je me présente one. So now you have the lyric videos. And to verify, you can actually encourage students to rap along with this song. So I'm just going to grab this over here, and we'll copy and paste it. And this is idea number 4 for you. Play it and let them experience it. Then number 5, using a pen or a pencil, have students circle any or all statements. In this case, we're talking about Je me présente. I'm going to switch it to Au Café DELF, okay, that they can identify with personally. So with Je me présente, they were looking for sentences like J'adore le chocolat that they could identify with personally. Could you give me a suggestion of what is something that they could do in this case? Let's go back to the words. What kind of things can we ask them to do on here? I love it. Circle cognates. Circle unknown vocabulary. Exactly, Catherine. That was the idea that was in my head. So circle foods that you know. You could take a step further, foods that you like. You could have a different circling method. You could have a scribble circle for foods that you don't like, or types of foods you like: spicy, salty, sugary. Do you see that there? Absolutely. So all these ideas that you guys are right now typing in the chat box, I only had a couple of those ideas in my head. That's why we have Shop Talk, so that we can share these ideas. So you can have students, once this is filled out, so this sheet is now all filled out, right? Imagine it's all filled out. And now they're taking their pens of perhaps a different color, okay? And they're going to circle things that they like. Maybe they like salad, types of meats. Maybe their favorite thing is dessert, okay? Maybe they don't like crème brûlée. I don't know why they wouldn't. But so they do the squiggly no, roar. Okay, that's the squiggly no sign. So you can design what it is that you want to do with the students. But it's in order to do what? It's in order to get them having these conversation starters. This is a very oral-based program. We're getting, of course we write. Of course we draw. We do multiple intelligence. There's art there. Of course there's reading. Of course there's listening. But we really want to get them speaking, right? So this is a great conversation starter. And let's go back to number 6. Then using a different color pen, ask students to circle a name of the character that they identify with most. So in this case, right, we could go from cognates, and you could even ask them at this point to break into groups of things that they like. Do I like salty foods, sugary foods, spicy foods, or stuff like that? So you can actually do this four corners activity right here, and instead of oui, souvent, so de temps en temps, or non, jamais, your corners actually would be labeled spicy, you know, okay, salty, okay, sugary, sucré, right? And then what the students have to do is think of what types of food they like the most. Then they go from the center of the classroom and they march over to the one that they identify with most. So I would go over here to sucré, okay, because I like the sugary stuff. Not good for me, I know. Using the four corners, like we just said, they'll go to that section, and from their four corners, so that's the, here, let me just type the instructions for you, and copy and paste. Catherine, that's a fantastic idea. Love that. Catherine says, I teach health to all my classes, and I would make this healthy eating in French and divide the groups by food group. So you can actually do four corners with food groups as well. If you can pick 4 food groups, and then you can divide it there. So in the chat box, I'm giving you stuff to copy and paste. From the four corners, the students will look at each other and go, oh, you too? Wow. Because now there's a group of students that are in the same corner, and they share why they're there. Then they will turn to the class, and they will share to the other 3 corners why their corner is really the most reasonable corner to be at, okay? And they'll share the reasons why it piques their interest. At the end of that conversation, when every one of the 4 groups has had an opportunity to share, so imagine we're back here, so my sucré team gets to share to the other 3 teams why it is that it's great to be sugary. And every other one of the groups have had their opportunity to speak. You are allowed to cross the floor, and you can go to, if you were convinced by the salty group that salty foods are better, then you may walk across and you actually finish there, and then you declare your allegiance to salt. So that's the grade 8 strategies.